In our previous video, we outlined how Noam Chomsky's critique of the science of 9/11 truth became outdated 10 days after he made it. We also heard his bizarre non sequitur that because one can imagine a conspiracy theory about a car crash, therefore concerned citizens should not ask questions about 9/11. Indeed, it's important to understand how Chomsky uses the term conspiracy theory.
I mean, a large part of the left completely disagrees on this and has all kind of elaborate conspiracy theories and, about how it happened and why it happened and so on. But
to be sure, there is a normative sense in which this term is used as a descriptor of a theory about a conspiracy. In this sense, the theory that Osama bin Laden was a conspirator in the 9/11 attacks is a conspiracy theory, a fact that Chomsky himself readily admits.
Well, bin Laden has said he did it. So that first of all, the fact that he said afterwards that he knew about it tells you nothing, and also it's irrelevant.
Chomsky clearly means this term in the pejorative sense, however. That is, he means to apply this label to a given set of facts, to connote that they are indeed a priori not worthy of consideration. It's difficult to know, however, precisely which facts Chomsky seeks to dismiss with the conspiracy theory label. Is it the fact that 15 of the 19 hijackers received their visas to enter the United States through the consulate in Jeddah, or that one of the former heads of that consulate, Mike Springman, testified to the 9/11 Citizens Commission that in his time working in Jeddah, he was routinely overridden by CIA field agents in the consulate when he tried to deny visas to suspected terrorists, and his later discovery that these terrorists were being shipped into the US for military training in order to aid CIA asset Osama bin Laden? Or is it the fact that Newsweek reported on September 15th, 2001, that several of the hijackers involved in the 9/11 attacks were trained at US military bases? If Chomsky is seeking to dismiss all this evidence that the terrorists were, in fact, aided and abetted by the US intelligence agencies, it would be bizarre, as this is the precise conspiracy theory he himself forwarded in regard to the 1993 attacks on the World Trade Center.
they tried to blow up the World Trade Center in 1993. That was a very ambitious plan. They were planning to blow up the World Trade Center, the UN, the FBI building, the tunnels into New York. That one, they were caught in time. If you can believe the U.S. police criminal system, the perpetrators are in jail. One of them is a Muslim cleric who was incidentally brought into the United States over the objections of the Immigration and Nationalization Service by the CIA, by CIA intervention, because he was a friend of theirs and they wanted him here. And when he was here, he organized terrorist cells which tried to blow up the World Trade Center.
Or perhaps Chomsky wishes to dismiss these facts as conspiracy theory. In October 2001, the Wall Street Journal reported that Mahmoud Ahmed was fired as head of Pakistan's intelligence service for having wired $100,000 to lead 9/11 hijacker Mohammed Atta in the weeks leading up to the attacks. In March 2002, the Washington Post reported that on 9/11, Ahmed was in Washington, partaking in a breakfast meeting with Bob Graham and Porter Goss, the heads of the Senate and House Intelligence Committees, and thus the two very men who would later be tasked with investigating what happened on 9/11. Perhaps Chomsky is in agreement with the 9/11 Commission in their assessment that the financing of the attacks is of little practical significance. Add to this the 9/11 insider trading, which prompted the largest investigation in Securities and Exchange Commission history, but stopped dead when the trail led back through A.B. Brown to Executive Director of the CIA, Buzzy Krongard. Add to this the Able Danger program and its cover-up, exposed by Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer and Congressman Kurt Weldon.
American people from knowing the facts about how we could have prevented 9/11, and people are covering it up today. And they're ruining the career of a military officer to do it. And we can't let it stand. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican, you can't let a lieutenant colonel's career be ruined because of some bureaucrat in the Defense Intelligence Agency. And if we let that happen, then no one that wears the uniform will ever feel protected.
Add to this the fact that 9/11 was the day of the greatest density of military drills in the history of the United States, including drills of hijacked jets slamming into government buildings, and drills that inserted fake blips onto NORAD's radar. All of these facts, according to Chomsky, are merely conspiracy theories, and thus you should not be concerned about them. For someone of such piercing intellect to dismiss such incredible evidence, one has to wonder if Chomsky's own theories about how the media manipulates society might be at play.
Now, when you have that power, the best technique is to ignore all of that discussion, ignore it totally, and to eliminate it by the simple device of asserting the opposite. If you assert the opposite, that eliminates mountains of evidence demonstrating that what you're saying is false. That's what power means.
Is Noam Chomsky, whether wittingly or not, in fact manufacturing dissent? That is, attempting to limit the acceptable discourse for political dissenters. Is it time for Chomskyites to begin examining Chomsky's strangely uncritical acceptance of the Warren Commission and the 9/11 Commission with more of a critical eye? Of course, Chomsky himself is willing to concede, at least theoretically, that 9/11 was an inside job, but only as a thought experiment to show how 9/11 truth is a waste of time.
I mean, it just doesn't make any, I mean, even if we're true, which is extremely unlikely, who cares? You know? I mean, it doesn't have any significance.
This incredible, even shocking statement is even contradicted by Chomsky himself, who has just finished saying,
So something would have leaked out, very likely, and if it had, they'd all have been before firing squads, and that'd be the end of the Republican Party forever, you know.
The obvious political reality, which even Chomsky concedes, is that 9/11 has activated the public politically, and if 9/11 truth were ever to be exposed, the results would be revolution. How then to parse the infamous "who cares" statement? Perhaps we should once again give Mr. Chomsky the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps this is not a rhetorical question after all. Maybe Chomsky really does want to know who cares if 9/11 was an inside job. If that is the case, the Corbett Report is pleased to provide him with an answer.
Do you like being a puppet, sir? Do you like being a puppet for the New World Order?
What's going on at the Bilderberg meeting, and what do you guys talk about up there?
The day that we stop asking questions is the day that we have allowed the seeds of despotism to grow at our own door into a great tree that blinds us to the truth.
We are here in Times Square. Many people from other countries are here with us, know a lot about what's happening. The American public is still learning about the atrocity of that day.
I just wanted to say this. This guy outside told me stop talking about 5 years ago, and I told him I will never stop talking about 5 years ago.
And if the government has not told the truth, in 5 years we will be here on the 10th anniversary of 9/11.